So I still feel like I haven't reached my peak yet. Like I feel like it's just because it was like just starting, and then kind of like I don't want to say things went left, but
we go and meet everybody and say, hey, great show, and then still it.
Y'all, Amarie has been going around talking about what went wrong in her career, and she is pointing major fingers at none other than some of y'all's queen, Beyonce herself. And it really shouldn't be that surprising because Beyonce definitely stepped on a lot of toes, allegedly, to get to where she is now. Beehive, stand down. I am merely the messenger. According to Amarie, Beyonce basically stole her sound, her looks, her performance style, and just when she was right at the point of really getting her name out there and establishing her space in the music industry, things took a drastic turn. And given how cutthroat the industry was in the late 90s and the early 2000s, it isn't hard to see why Amarie kept a grudge for close to 20 years. But what exactly did Beyonce do that was so terrible? The late 90s and early 2000s really saw a lot of phenomenal Black talented acts from America come onto the scene. I mean, really more than I can count. And one of them was your girl, Amarie. She was beautiful, talented, and she went on to release a couple of hit tracks like Why Don't We Fall in Love, Talking to Me, Need You Tonight, I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight, and All I Have. When she dropped All I Have as her debut album in 2022, her label Columbia Records really didn't have a lot of faith in the project doing well. But even now, it's still one of those classic albums that you really can't get out of your head and have to revisit every so often because there's something so special about it. And there's something on the album for everyone's vibe. The album really allowed her vocals to take center stage, and the title track All I Have showcased her charisma and her confidence. Now let's get into the music video for Why Don't We Fall in Love. Amarie didn't do too much. The treatment for that video didn't require too much. Amarie didn't go over the top or try to oversell herself. In fact, for most of the video, she wore a white tank top, short shorts, and red heels, and was just walking around the street. And the funny thing is, that was enough to keep viewers hooked throughout the whole video. Around 2002 as well, Destiny's Child was slowly getting to the point where it was time to disband and push Beyonce into the forefront so that she can kick off her solo career in a big way. But girl, when the Crazy in Love video dropped, fans were shocked. Right from the start of the video, people noticed that Beyonce was wearing the same outfit that Amarie wore in her video, right down to the shoes. She had on a white tank top and some short shorts, and baby, it included the red heels. Now, what are the odds of that happening? Beyonce even had Amarie's walk down pat, and the focal point was just her walking at the beginning of the Crazy in Love video. Maybe, just maybe, the outfit and the walk was a big coincidence, and Beyonce's team just so happened to come up with the same concept as Amarie's team. Fans also clocked the fact that Beyonce's performance style after her release of Crazy in Love was also very much like Amarie's back when she dropped her debut project. When Amarie was on stage, you could really see that she relied on her band and used a lot of percussions to breathe life into her performances. Between 2003 and 2004, when Beyonce was on the Dangerously in Love tour, she was stripping back to raw live drums just like Amarie and began to insert similar percussive elements into her performance. So now we have the two of them in the same outfit, doing the same walk, and the same performance style. Even if you wanted to argue that she didn't outright take anything from Amarie, it was obvious that she was drawing inspiration there, for sure. And child, Beyonce is notorious for being, inspired. But what really didn't look like a coincidence was Beyonce using Rich Harrison, who was the same producer of Amarie's debut album for her own project. When Amarie released her debut project back in 2002, it was majorly produced by Rich Harrison. And there were several go-go infused tracks on there. At that time, Rich Harrison made it her sound, and Amarie even said, I was growing and vocally coming into myself. And that was playing off what Harrison was creating. He was able to create based on what I was bringing. I was like his muse. For me, we're like musical soulmates, we just fit. When it came to everyone else really doing anything, there was always going to be an element of me and Rich in that because we created something special together. It was hard to get away from it. With Rich Harrison acting as both writer and producer, and Amarie joining as both writer and singer, they were able to continuously create and develop what was going to be Amarie's signature sound. When her first album was well received, the two of them just continued to get into the studio together and make some music. So when Amarie's sophomore album, Touch, was released in 2005, the title track One Thing was an instant hit. In fact, Amarie had leaked the song because the label was preparing to give it to J-Lo, and she didn't want it to be removed from her album rollout.
One Thing came out in 2004 because I leaked it over Christmas because everyone would be on break, so they can't stop anything. Exactly. So I was like, I'm gonna be out here, I'm gonna drop a match. You know? For me, I was like, look, I think I might get dropped, so I just want people to hear the music. I don't really care about getting paid for it. I just want people to hear it because I believe in it. And they're on Christmas break, so we can just do it. And at the time, they were trying to like give the record to somebody else. They were trying to do that, but they couldn't because I wrote on the record too, so you can't just take it. And that was frustrating for them, I guess.
But why?
And Amarie definitely did her big one, holding on to the song, because to this day, it has remained her biggest hit and has even gotten on the Billboard's Hot 100's top 10 list when it first dropped. But as beloved as the song was, fans couldn't help but compare One Thing to Beyonce's Crazy in Love. The two songs sounded so familiar that if you didn't watch the videos or know the artist, you'd think that the same person sang both songs. Anytime people brought up the similarities between her song and Beyonce and how funny it was that Beyonce somehow got the same producer she'd been working with, Amarie would laugh it off and just say that it was one of those things that comes with being in a competitive industry. But when she was asked about it yet again in an interview, she kept it real cute and simply said, there were so many artists who were trying to work with him. You know, he's going to work with different artists. He's going to have different songs. He's going to want to play some songs for me as his artist, right? But he's going to want to play some songs everywhere because he's trying to grow and make his name as a producer.
A lot of people would be like, wait, that's not your record? Why did he give that record to you? And I'm like, he never played that record for me. But after our first album, see the thing, what happened during that time?
Tell us.
Like after...
Tell us what happened. This is going to be all over the internet.
After the...
This is going to be a whole line, girl.
It's really, it's really simple. It's like we did the first album, right? And after the first album came out, it made a lot of noise and people really loved that album.
After the release of her third album, Amarie parted ways with Columbia Records because the label botched the release of the album in the US, and from then on, we never really got to hear anything else from her for more than a decade.
It's just like, even when I wanted this single, it was like so hard to move and like to do anything. And then we were gonna release it, and it was like, yeah, it's gonna come out in the States. And I was like, but why are they coming out at different times? We live in the internet era. It should be one date. I don't believe in this different dates for this and that. I have fans that are going to be like, hey, I didn't get the album, so what is the good reason for having them come out at different times?
She completely stepped away from the music industry and didn't drop any albums, any songs, any promo, nothing. But now that she's out again, Amarie revealed that it got to a point where she really needed to step away from it all. So for 10 years straight, she couldn't even listen to Beyonce's music or that of any other artist because it would make her look back on her own music career and the regret she had about things going downhill.
That was kind of like a defense mechanism, actually. So I went through like 10 years where I didn't listen to anything.
Why?
But generally, see, I thought that it was because now I'm writing. My novel's coming out June 10th, by the way. I thought it was because, you're in writing mode and you're not in that right now. But then I realized later, I was like, you weren't listening to music because you were trying to avoid it. You felt like it was going to make you angsty because it's going to make you want to make music, which is going to make you kind of like, oh, but this is the time, and oh, how last time this, and maybe that won't work, and how do I do this, and how do I do that? So all you're gonna do is be frustrated. And so that just made me be like, I'm not listening to any music.
She spoke carefully and really chose her words wisely because Amarie has never been one for the drama. But this only made fans pay closer attention, and fans were convinced that she was hinting about the damage done to her career because a bigger artist saw her style and wanted it for themselves. She also told Billboard that why she ultimately decided to leave was because she became disillusioned with the industry. Whenever she tried to speak up about what was bothering her, she always got a lot of pushback. And this became a major problem because she wasn't afraid to speak her mind to the label. And let's be honest here, Amarie isn't the first person to have called Beyonce out for doing her like that. Because other creators, and I'm not just talking about singers, writers, producers, have spoken out about her copying from them without due credit. And folks are certain that Amarie was just another one of the competition that had to be taken out of the way for Beyonce to shine. I love Amarie's music so much. Like, if anybody should be yelling at Beyonce, it's def her. I'm not debating this no more. Amarie was better than Beyonce. Argue with the wall, man. Are you really the queen if you got rid of all your competition? Remember Whitney, Mariah, Anita, Sade, and many more thrived amongst each other? But what do y'all think about this? Have any of you listened to Amarie's music? Share your thoughts in the comments and make sure you like and subscribe because there's more coming down the pipeline. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.